Okay.
They're eating well.
This is the time set for position description for short-term recording secretary of Granite County Forest Management Advisory Committee and for a short-term clerk and recorder's office. Do we want to blanch it for that maybe?
Yeah, because it was her idea for the one in there. On force, I think she should be compensated for her time. I mean, she's been coming and doing it twice now.
That's
Becky.
Becky.
Yeah.
Okay. And we promised you
And on that,
help, right?
yeah, to reset it up. When we made
Who, me?
Huh?
Who, me? Who are you talking to? Me?
No, we promised that we would provide secretarial support for the subcommittee.
Until we got her set up in her own committee.
Right.
And then she's the secretary.
Yeah, I say I don't understand what well, that would be brought up at our meeting. Questions regarding the duties of everybody involved. Like if you're going to have somebody taking the minutes, what is the secretary's job?
That's be the one that takes the minutes, right?
Then I'm not the secretary, right?
Because we're paying somebody to do it right now.
Well,
Right?
that's because we didn't have nobody to take them.
Yeah. I mean, you
We
guys.
just asked her to help out to get this started, so we had minutes taken on these first two meetings, because we didn't know what we was doing, so we had it all, you know, and then she was getting out the advertisement and that, and we had the meetings and that. So I'm sure once we get set up, the secretary, if I have to do, you know, setting up an agenda.
Well, actually, that's a decision you guys can make. Maybe you want to continue to pay somebody to do it, or the county pay somebody to do it.
Well, a point that I made, and I discussed it with Mr. Bradshaw. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when this committee was set up, there should have been a resolution setting the committee up, and I think it was up to the commissioners to basically say what it was for, how many members would be on it, when they would meet, and all those incidentals.
So they did do a resolution by verbal motion.
But I
in
think-
minutes, but be a good idea to have a numbered resolution. I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
So as I recall, and
Are
it's
you an
still
attorney,
okay.
Suzanne?
No, but
Okay.
all
well-
boards, you know, they have been
Well, as
set
soon
up
as you
with a
go to law
formal
school,
resolution.
then you can tell me how to do my job. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
I-
You're gonna be that smirky there.
Okay, so here's the thing, I mean, I think there was an effort to set up a board that gave the members of this group lots of opportunity to make it what they wanted it to be. In other words, to not dictate by a resolution, this is the way it's gonna look, this is, formulate the board, and that's the way you've gotta operate. It was my attempt to say, we got good people that have volunteered here, let's take application, get some more, and then let's let them kind of formulate how they want to work together, okay? Now, at some point, when you guys decide, hey, we want a paid county employee, or we don't, and we want, this is how many members we want to limit to, and all that kind of thing, we can do a resolution formal.
Yeah.
Sure, with your recommendation, absolutely. And maybe we should. But I just wanted you guys to have the freedom and not be dictated to by the commission, because this could be an ongoing, really good thing, and we have good people. Why would, we don't need to dictate. And maybe my thought about what this should look like wouldn't work the best. And certainly I wanted to give you the opportunity to have a couple meetings, formulate what you want, and when you do, come on back, we'll do a resolution. Don't you think? If you want to do
That's
that.
advisable.
I agree with that, and because you're gonna build it to what you guys want. The committee is gonna become its own force, and we don't want to dictate to that.
I mean, I don't know what's manageable, guys. You get up there with that group of people, 12 people are manageable, 14's too many, I don't, you come back with that. So that's something that we put in the resolution. Would you rather spend your time having a volunteer, having to do all this work, setting up the agenda, keep track of minutes, distributing minutes, all the things that happen? Or do you want us to maybe pay somebody like Becky to do that for you? I mean, there's so many things. How many officers do you want? What do you call your officers? I just wanted to give you the freedom to kind of do that and not
Well, we
dictate to
picked
you.
our officers.
Yeah, you're moving ahead, that's great. All I'm saying, if you wanna formalize that, come on back to us and tell us what,
Do it as a resolution.
and we'll do it as a resolution.
Well, not that, I could jump ahead on this, but to prove a point, later on today, you're going to have a policy on committee minutes for the Forest Management Advisory. So this is what's happening while you're setting a policy as this thing has already been created. At the first meeting I brought up, who's going to take care of the minutes, where would the minutes appear, and I said, would we have a presence on the website, as I think every board should have a presence on the website.
Sure.
I mean, even when Becky is gone, like, what do I do? Where am I supposed to put the minutes up, to share with the public? This is big, okay? This is not just something to pacify the environmentalists, because that's what I'm looking at. Right now is to pacify the environmentalists. They're the ones that saying we need public meetings, more public participation. I agree with that. But just doing something like this, it's just pacifying them. Well, see, look, we're going to have public meetings. But it's not being handled like an advisory board. And when it comes down to it, yes, we are going to be discussing coordination. I brought that up this morning, and I want people to take our group seriously, just like they should be here now in this meeting. The people that, Chuck Hinkle, who's the chair, I mean, these people should be here discussing it with you. It seems like you just left us out of it. When you had that meeting with the EPA director, you brought up this committee. You brought it up in the Missoulian. That's going around. And I don't think we should be taken lightly.
With the EPA director.
What was his name? Josh or...
You lost me there.
The BLM, I'm sorry.
Oh, Joe.
The BLM.
Joe had
Excuse
come in
me.
and given their
That's right.
yearly-
And you mentioned the fact that you started this committee.
Right.
Okay.
We said it was in its infancy. We said we didn't make any statements about, how you were going to be formulated. We told him we'd leave it up to him. That's all we mentioned. He was actually reporting to us. It wasn't the other way around. He came.
One thought would be to put that policy on the minutes in the resolution, that could be done.
Yeah, I want to be taken serious. I want the group to
Well, I
be
want you
taken
guys to
seriously.
come to us with how you want to handle your minutes. Talk about it, agree on it, and then we'll put it in the resolution and we'll live up to it. Absolutely. That's a good example, exactly. And that's partly how that discussion will go.
Okay, and
But, whether or not we had a formal resolution with all this stuff, set down in stone, and that's the way you had to operate, I just didn't feel, and talking to Commissioner Adler during the meeting, and Commissioner Barney, we didn't feel like that we wanted to put you in that kind of a box. We wanted you to tell us how would this, because we want to take you seriously and because we think it's important, tell us how it would be the best way to operate. And you still can do that. And we're hoping you will. Make sense? 'Cause
Yeah.
we do think it's important, and we know now by accident, it's probably the best process that's starting to get us prepared if there's a delisting, so we can access the Forest Service to actually do management planning, because we'll be way ahead of everybody.
It's just like Chuck bringing them books for us, their forest plan, they've never brought that stuff to us in here. And they went up and got the books and bought them. And this, did you do your homework?
Did I do my homework? I don't know. I don't know what my homework is. No, well, I have to come in and I'll have to put that into the book and stuff. But I think we have a problem here I think Susie was right. There's set rules. It's called the Montana Codes Annotated. Blaine is the attorney, he's your attorney, and
The problem is the codes are not clear. I mean, it's.
I agree with you.
We're trying to make something clear out of something that's pretty vague. So if you could tell me where you see advisory board, but they're allowed. Advisory boards are allowed.
but see, Blaine, to go into this, it's a board, and there's no such thing as a committee. But I want to just say something. I could be put on the agenda to go over this, because
Yeah,
there's many.
It should be. It should be.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
significant public interest.
But we've already said we're going to do a
Right.
resolution. So.
Okay, because there's one thing else
There's
that,
nothing done backwards here, though. I mean,
No,
everything
I'm not
is
saying.
up front. And,
but there's got to be clarification somewhere. And one thing to clarify is that there is you would know this, but there is a difference between a self-governing government and a general government, general management government. You realize that, don't you?
yes, agree. You know,
Okay, and so you just don't make up, you have to abide by the Montana Codes Annotated, and if they are confusing, then it's up to your attorney to tell him to get a clarification on it. That's all I'm going to say now.
Okay, so let's go back to what the agenda item is for a second here. We're going to try to decide a short-term recording secretary for the County Forest Management Advisory Committee first. And if that's our mission in this subject, I need to know, Scott, do you want to continue to have her there until the board, the advisory council says, we don't need her?
I think we should.
Okay.
I do, because she can get into the websites and everything.
And we can put
Without nobody
stuff
knowing, I
on
mean, at
there.
least we can still advertise
Right.
and, but she told us though that she didn't, she don't plan on doing this, she just kinda got through into it, so.
To get us started.
Just kinda asked for a helper.
Well, if I can say something, we have to go back to the point, what is her job? Just to take minutes and put an agenda up? What is my job as this appointed secretary going to be?
I think that's a
You know.
discussion you have to have with the members of the advisory council, don't you? And
Well, then I
tell
don't,
us-
why should she get paid?
Well, because she's a county employee right now.
And she's already being paid then,
And we
right?
asked her to do this, so I think we should pay her.
well, she'd be paid for her time.
For her time.
Yeah.
And if you
We asked
guys feel like you
Not
don't
double
need her,
dipping.
then we'll change it and we'll put that in a resolution that it's done by a volunteer, appointed by the commission. If that's the way you wanna operate, that's
It's the
fine.
simplest way to handle it.
Sure.
Okay, so then when we have the meeting, there's going to be a bunch of groundwork we're going to lay down.
Yeah, and Commissioner Adler actually is kind of a piece of that. We just wanted him to make sure that he went, got things organized, made sure that you guys found it a way that you wanted to govern yourself, your own board, right? And if you want to replace him on the board, you can do that. You have every right to do that. We'll put it in finally in a resolution. If you want a commissioner on that board, we'll put that in a resolution.
Well, even that's something we're going to have to discuss. That was
Right.
one of my questions that I was
Sure.
going to bring up, the role of everybody.
But see, Bart and I, and actually Commissioner Adler to some extent, didn't want to dictate that. We wanted to let you guys do that. How's this shape? What's it look like?
What do you want yourselves to look like?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a commissioner whose presence is there, and I assumed, which I shouldn't do, is that he would report back to you and tell you what we've accomplished and what the discussion, and that would have been on the agenda. I don't know, I just thought.
Well, we can read the minutes, and certainly I really agree with you. I think there's a lot of interest out there. I'd love to see them posted on the website. Okay?
Oh, I think you're going to get it with the environmentalists. I think they're going to come big time now that that article was in the Missoulian.
Well, here's the thing. They can come all they want to, but they can't vote. So
And they
you-
can't fit downstairs either.
Well, if you needed a bigger place, we'll figure out a bigger
The only
place.
reason we was down there in that little hole there is because of Chuck Eagle, because he has a.
But even up here, you saw that day when they got wind of it. You saw it, and then we went upstairs and what it was like when they got wind of it.
Well, we
okay.
can move it upstairs, there's room up there.
But I mean, when they get wind of something, they're here full force.
Yeah.
So you better have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted
Our
with them.
best, sort of armor against that, so that you can go on and be really active and effective, was that don't let them vote. We want county residents, that this affects, if they want to go join one in their own county, have at it. But, you know, we don't just need this thing run by people from, you know, Spokane or Seattle. What we want it run by is you county residents that have to choke on the smoke and pay the taxes right here. Because the Sapphire, you know, is a big part of North County.
Yeah, well, we'll go back to this thing, but like I says, when it comes down to the rubbers, the tires meeting the cement, we're definitely going to be talking to the Forest Service. I mean, this is not just what happened this morning.
It's all
God
designed
bless you,
for.
that's what we want.
Well,
We
that's,
want input on their forest management plan for the very first time we've ever had it. We want that. And it sounded like Kerry White has helped us facilitate that with the law that was passed in the legislature. So who actually does that? Well, instead of us doing it, we felt like it'd be better that we had informed citizens that had been meeting, that knew all the issues, right? Have them do it. And if they say, no, we won't do that, we'll appoint you. They can deal with our appointees, but it'll probably come off that board, I guarantee you it'll come off that advisory board. So we wanted you to get in, get organized, get up to speed, so that you could be really effective when they actually do have to meet with the Forest Service.
okay,
Okay?
it's still open for
So let's go
discussion.
back to Becky. You know, I'd entertain a motion that we pay her until the advisory board decides that they don't want to utilize her or have another way of coming up. Or however they want to do it.
I'll make that motion on that, we asked her to come do it, so it's kind of like we expected her to do it. The way it sounded that we weren't gonna need her too much more.
Okay.
Because once we got lined out and get our website stuff set up, probably another one time, maybe 2 times, Elena, maybe? And then we can get set up and
Well, like Bill, you said in the article, it was the first time we met this month. This was the second time we met.
I don't know.
Where's the minutes for last month, though? I don't know.
we met twice.
Mhm.
We postponed some for the next week because I was waiting on a certain.
I'm just playing devil's advocate because the environmentalists are going to pin you on this. That's all I'm saying.
We'll just fight that when it gets here.
Sure.
Susie running for the record. I just have a question. It said a description for the job that you're gonna have Becky do. Apparently you're working on that, but, with the other boards that the county has, are those secretaries paid that do their minutes?
No.
Okay, so,
Only one that does is Mike when we have him go do, like when we have him meetings and stuff.
okay.
Planning board.
Planning board.
The planning board,
Yeah.
does someone does them from there? I'm thinking about your
We're just
other,
using her, just Susie, because it was just, because we didn't have nobody.
no, and
I sure
that's,
the hell can't take them
hey, I
those.
think it's great that you have somebody that wants to do it and you can, but I'm just saying, I guess
think-
my question is be careful, the airport board might say, hey, we want a paid secretary.
We've
Or the
asked
No.
cemetery
We've already
board.
went there.
Okay, you've already gone
went
there?
there. We already
Okay,
covered that.
Okay, and when you do pay her, what fund will it come out of?
We will probably have to take it out of the commissions fund.
Out of the, okay, the
Yeah.
general,
And it's not gonna be that much money, I don't think. I mean,
So
sounds
the
like
meetings
we're-
only last an hour.
okay,
That could be changed also.
okay.
That could be changed also.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, we can change that, but we've kept them there because we're just trying, otherwise it's getting too out of hand.
And
So what-
also,
Hang on a second, what was the motion again, so? it
That
was
we,
to-
well, she
go
could comment
ahead, go
was
ahead,
on.
you answered
Well,
mine.
just hang on, because I'm gonna
Okay.
give you a chance to comment.
I made
let's-
the
I want you to
motion
stick to
that
the
since,
motion.
I made the motion that since we asked Becky to come and take it, that we compensate her on it.
Okay.
That's
And it was for a limited time,
Yeah.
correct?
Until you guys tell us we don't need her anymore, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
And I'll second that one.
Okay, so is there any further comment on the motion on motion.
I don't agree for the record.
Okay, so what would your comment be that you don't need?
As a member of the forest, this is my comment, as a member of the newly formed Forest Management Advisory Committee, I don't think that it's necessary to have a paid person take the minutes,
Okay,
especially since it's temporary and we haven't decided anything.
so while you're deciding, I think the motion's gonna cover you not losing any minutes and getting published properly. So that's my response to your comments, which is great. And so, is there any other comments on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And you can ask her to, the next meeting might be your last, that's up to you.
Not
Okay,
if
so
I
we
can
have,
help it.
Another agenda item.
Can I just comment something on the Forest Management Committee?
Yeah, hang on a second. Why
Okay.
don't can we get lunch? So she come in on the second one.
Oh, I'll be here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Susie Browning for the record. No, I'm not an attorney. This is a really great resource from local government out of Bozeman that we had done in 2008 that tells you all about boards and districts and, well, you can read the title. And it's a wonderful resource. It truly is. I think it's great that you formed this management advisory committee, especially, you know, the forest plan is going to come up again. But I think when you establish a board, it should be done by resolution because then you adopt bylaws. I know you've gone through with the membership, you know, how long they should be every 2 years or whatever, which is kind of substantially establishing the bylaws. And I think that's important. You know, a while back, everybody was scrambling. I think the airport board has redone their bylaws, but you know, a lot of these boards were formed a long time ago, and you know, there were bylaws, but they weren't updated or no one could find them. And so, you know, when you do it by resolution, a formal resolution, I think it really does help. And I think it's a perfect thing for this county, especially with the Beaverhead and the Lolo Forest and.
That's, I think we agreed to do it on a resolution, because, you know, we talked about it, and like, the way I understood it, I
Yep,
thought they.
sent that manual to all the boards, they all have it.
Oh, this manual?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I understand that, but I'm just saying, I think the Forest Management Advisory Committee should, I think, the formal resolution, because I see it
I agree
being
with
quite
you.
useful down the road, especially when the Beaverhead Deer Lodge Forest Plan comes up again, the Lolo Forest Plan. I think it's a group that should stay organized within the county. I think it's a good thing.
We're all agreeing with you.
Oh,
We're
we
gonna-
agree.
We're not necessarily gonna put the cart before the horse, we're gonna actually ask our members to tell us what that resolution should look like.
Okay.
That's the only thing we're doing here. And we're giving them the freedom to kind of make this thing look like the way they think it should look instead of dictating to them the way it should look. Does that make sense? And then we'll put it in a resolution. I would suspect that in the next couple, after the next couple meetings, they'll come to us and say, this is what we think should be in the resolution. We consult with the county attorney and then we'll pass it.
And so then you would work on bylaws, et cetera?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank
I
you.
think we have to, I think
Yeah,
that's
that's-
good.
Yeah, it's
We're just
important.
trying to get started, it's the main thing, and I know we kinda got in a hurry.
Thank you.
And this is gonna improve the communication between our board and the Forest Service, because we have never had that
Oh, I
communication
think
before.
I think it's a great thing for the county.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I do. I see it
So the-
continuing.
So the short-term position in the clerk recorder's office, we wanted, this is the same person, by the way, so I'm gonna get the compensation as soon as we hear from you, okay?
Actually, it is a position where, remember we discussed months ago when I put all my images on the computer, and if I needed help indexing, then I could pull somebody in to help index my documents. Also, I'm just gonna pull in Becky Smith, who has assessor knowledge from working with the Department of Revenue, and maybe get her trained in doing the property ownership book and other duties in the office for short term.
How, when you say short term, are we talking like months?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
6 months? Okay. So-
And Mike had me do a new job description, so I think that's what you guys
Yeah, we
are
have that.
looking at.
So I would entertain a motion to adopt the job description for a short-term, is it a clerk?
Yeah.
Clerk.
In the clerk and recorders, and I'd appreciate it if you would add to your motion that the compensation is exactly, since it's the same person for both jobs that we're discussing here.
Yeah.
So you guys, would you put that in your motion?
I would,
Because I don't want her making two different salaries.
okay, I would move.
Well, her salary would be at an entry level 7
That's fine.
at $11.94.
So that would, so I'll entertain a motion to do that.
I'd move to accept the position description for the short-term clerk at a salary of entry level 7 for a period of 6 months.
Okay.
Second it.
I'll take it.
Discussion on the motion, do you want to amend your motion to say, including whatever period of time she's gonna be with
Oh,
first
including,
management?
including what period of time that she's gonna be on the advisory board.
Thank you. Will you amend your
I'm
second?
sorry.
Second.
One thing here is the short-term person can only work 90 days within a 12-month period.
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
And that's in the job description too.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Where's the job? I'm looking for the job.
that's right in front. Second one back.
Right
There it is.
All right, thank you.
there. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. So Mike, do you have that? Yep. We adopt. Okay.